This is A32 today, back on how to play. Today, looking at how to play this game, Fairy Ring, which just came out pretty recently, designed by Laurence Grenier and Fabien Tanguay. Hopefully that's how you pronounce it. For 2 to 4 players, ages 8 and up, takes about 40 minutes. Beautiful UV ink on the box with all this nice fungi, the mushrooms, and it's all about the mushrooms and the fairy ring, which is apparently based on real life stuff where mushrooms basically grow in a ring and support each other. And then there's this whole thing about fairies, and which take that however you want. So in the game, you get a whole bunch of stuff, and actually I should probably get myself the rules over here just in case I need to reference anything, which may happen. Each player gets a player board like this. Hopefully you can see everything. Each player gets a player board that has a different color of flower on it. There's obviously 4. I'm not going to use the white one. I'm not going to try to guess what each flower is. I mean, the white one kind of looks like a daffodil or something like that. Or no, is it? I don't recall. I'm guessing the red one is a rose. The yellow is probably a tulip. The blue one, I'm not sure. You get that. Each player is also going to get, and it's got a color associated with it. That's the red one. Got them mixed up here. Each player has a scoring thing that goes 1 through 15. Whoever has the most points at the end wins. And you're supposed to keep it face down and keep your score secret. However, I'm pretty sure most people could probably guesstimate what your score is at any point in time, so it's kind of a moot point. You have these nice figures that you're going to be using to move around. There's a modular board. There's standees, fairy standees. Each player gets one. They're pretty cool. They actually supplied an extra one, a bonus one, with the game. It's a little dragon. It's really cool. These are just plastic. And there's also these little ones, these little flower tokens, which are used for a more advanced variant, which I'll explain, but I'm not going to do it. And these are the cards you would use for that advanced variant. Should be, I guess it's 4. That's right, there's 4. Double-sided. These are basically objectives you can try to complete. And the idea is when you complete the objective, you can take your token and put it on that card so that you know that you have done that objective. And then other people, I think, as far as I know, everyone can do the same objective. You just can't do it more than once, so that's why you put your little marker on there. And when you do that, you get a point. Just outright 1 point. The other way to get a point is to get 20 of these mana, what's come in number 1s and number 5s. And these are going to be getting throughout the game, and as soon as you get 20, you get a point. But these objectives, they say you should play the base game a few times before adding them in. I don't think they're overly complicated. It's like, you get free cards that had the free mushrooms or whatever. Those are, actually it says here on the back of the reference card what it is. So these are objectives you can do. This is, again, a variant you don't have to use, but it's like if you get 10 visible fireflies in your village, this is going to be your village here, you complete that one and get a point. This is free mushrooms with at least 2 visible fireflies in each, 7 mushrooms total, 6 different types of mushrooms, free mushrooms of the same type, free sets of mushrooms, free high like this. So if I had free mushrooms like this, it wouldn't be that like that because it's different kinds, but just an example, if you had a set of free, you would get, if you had free like that, you would get that. This is 4 that have at least 2. This is 2 that are 4. So anyways, put those aside. So you get that on this little reference card. It's a pretty big card, actually. And then on the other side, it tells you all about the mushrooms, which we will go over I'm going to put all this side stuff aside, pun intended. This is a start player board that you're going to have as the game goes on. You're going to have cards on here. And like Susie Go, what you're going to be drafting a card, put it in here, and then you put the rest here. And then everyone reveals simultaneously. And then you pass this around with the other cards to the next player. Each round, you're going to be doing 6 cards, and I believe it's 2 rounds that you're going to be playing. Most points at the end is the winner. And you're always going to have 1 card left over. And these are the cards you're going to use for each round. Yes, so it's 2 rounds, duh, that you're going to be playing. There are some additional cards here. These, I have to point out, I'll show you the cards, what they look like. And this number you see in the top left corner is a movement. So it says they're going to move 3 spots. This is going to be 5. This one could be 5, 6, or 7, etc., etc. On the bottom corner, it tells you the ability of this mushroom. And then it tells you the name. And these are the fireflies that you can get for certain objectives. And one of these also is going to score based on the fireflies, which I'll explain momentarily. Now, also in the bottom right corner, you have a number. This tells you this is the player indicator. So these are only used if you're doing 4 players. So I'm going to put them aside, and I got everything here for 2 or 3 players as indicated in the corner. These are all for the first round. These are for the second. You can see the ring is different as well. It kind of grows from 0 to 2 to help you distinguish between the cards aside from just the number on the back. These zeros are what you're going to start the game off with. Each player is going to get 1. And there's 1 of each of the 6 species in here. And I want to set this up in a better kind of a ring here. That's the name. Fairy ring. And let's talk about the different mushrooms. The first one you have is the Magidrome. I'm going to guess these are made-up names and not real mushroom names. I could be wrong. This one has a number on the bottom. This is how many of these mana you're going to get if you score this one. So in this case, it would be 3 mana. These ones don't have any movement thing on it because you're just going to get it at the start of the game and put it into your village. This is called your village. And so, yeah. The Magidrome just scores you however many mana it says. Next is the Lookout. And the Lookout is going to score you a certain number of points, or mana, I should say. See, it's very complicated to call those mana and not points. People are just going to outright call them points, but the mana. This one is going to tell you how many mana you're going to get depending on how many of these you have. So if I had 2, I'd get 8 mana. If I had 4, I'd get 24 mana. So that's the Lookout. Next is the Pollinarium. And this one's going to give me 1 mana per mushroom in my village. So if I had 3 mushrooms in my village, I'd get 3 mana. Next is the Academy. Perfectly in order. This one is going to give me mana equal to the fairy's movement. So if I played this card and had a movement of 4, I would get 4 mana. If I was this card that I was landing on, if you will. Then we have the Luminarium, looks like that. And this is going to give me 1 mana per visible firefly in my village. So for every card that has a firefly in my village, I get 1 mana. And then this last one is the Spring, and this one gives me 1 mana every time you or somebody else passes over it. So if I have this here, and like the way it's going to work is you're going to be moving around the board with those movements. Like this is, again, this is 4. And if I go 1, 2, 3, 4 and pass over this, I would get a point. If somebody else passes over it, I also get a point because this is on my, in my village. So you're going to have the cards you're going to use for every round. It's basically the same thing. I will point out the second round ones have higher point values, anywhere from like 5 to 7. I'll put these aside. We won't use them for now. But these ones all have like 3 to 5 points. So into the second round, you get more points. So the first thing you're going to do Hopefully everyone has followed along with what I said. So you're going to give everyone a player board, a scoring wheel thing, which you have to assemble yourself. A little assembly required. You set up the decks for the player count that you're going to be doing. Set up the mana tokens off to the side. They say in the middle of the table. I don't quite have enough room for that, so I'll just put them over there. Here's what it is. Actually, I'll move them over here closer to me. Randomly choose a start player. And, you know, it's okay to have a player right in front of you if you need it. They specify you should use it for the first few games. Everything else you don't need, you put back in the box. And, oh, let me put this card back here. And then each player is going to draw one of these 0 starting cards. So I'll get one, I get one, I get one. Put the rest aside, and you're going to put this wherever you want in your village. You do not score it at this time. I'm going to put these so they're all facing the same direction. And then, everyone's ready to go. You can shuffle these up. Each player is going to get 7 of these cards dealt to them in each of the rounds. So 1, 2, 3, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7. But in a pre-play game, there's going to be some left over. That's fine. And each player is going to look at their hand, select one, put it in here, put the rest over here. I'm just going to randomly select one. And then I would do the same thing. And maybe I want the lookout. And then, starting with the start player, that'd be me, since I have the start player thing. I'm going to take my card, put it in here. You ideally want to face it the other player so they can read it. I have it like this so that we can all see it. But it's the lookout, and it has a movement of 5. And in terms of how you move, where you start. The tricky part is where do you start? Because I haven't seen that. I guess you kind of just start with the first one. So 1, it says 5, so I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Since I landed on this one, it gives me 3 mana. I will collect. And the way it's going to work is you're going to be doing 3 different actions during one round. You're going to simultaneously look at your cards, select one, put it face down in front of you. Starting with the start player, that was me because I have the start player thing here. I'm going to turn it so she's face up. I reveal my card and play it here. Move around the board. I might land on one of my cards. I might land on one of my opponent's cards. Then going to the left, the next player is going to do that. Now, when you do, after you choose, you play a card, you're going to resolve, which is place your mushroom. You can place it to either side of an existing mushroom or on top if it's the same kind. If I had another lookout, I could put it on top of that one. But I don't have to. We should make that clear. Once I place the mushroom, I'm going to look at how many movement it has. This is 5. Move it around the board. Wherever it lands, it lands. And then you and possibly an opponent will gather mana. If I had landed on this player on their Pollinarium, they would get mana for whatever it says. The Pollinarium is 1 mana per mushroom in the village, so if I had landed there, they would get 1 mushroom. However, if I also had a Pollinarium, I also would score that card. So if you have the card that you land on, you also score it. If I don't score it, but they will score it. So it's an interesting little mechanic. So I was here. So next player is going to go. They reveal the card. It's a Luminarium, and it's a movement of 5. So they're going to do the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They land on their own. The Luminarium is 1 mana per visible Firefly. They have 1, so they get 1 mana. Remember, once you get 20 mana, you can discard those and you give yourself 1. But nobody's there yet. Then the next player is going to go. They have a Spring, which can give them a 3, 4, or 5 movement. They're going to do 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Unfortunately, that doesn't benefit them because they don't have the Academy, but this player is going to score. They're going to score mana equal to the fairy's movement, which was 5. So actually, he screwed up. He should not have done 5 years, thinking he might land back on his spot. He miscalculated. This player, though, is going to get 5 mana as a result. Whoops. The alternative was he's going to give me 3 mana, so here's what it is. We then pass all these around. The start player moves over here. They get some cards. I get some cards. They select a card again. And I will select one. Maybe I select this one. And then this guy's going to go first. He reveals he's got another Academy. He's going to put it here. There's this little, line for you to line up with. So actually it should be like this. And they're going 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. They're giving me 3 points, which is fantastic. They don't have a magic drone, so they don't collect anything, but I am. I guess since I have 6, I'm going to trade up to 5. You can do that as well. These, by the way, are nice little wooden tokens. I like them. Next time around, this player, when they land, or somebody lands on Academy, they're going to get mana equal to the fairy's movement times 2, because they have 2 there. So they would get, in this case it was 5, they would get 10 points, 10 mana, I should say. So the next player is going to go and they reveal the card. It's a Lookout, and it's a 4. And they're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. They land on the Lookout. They get, it's 3 mana for 1, so that's what they're going to get. They finally get some mana. And then I'm going to go and I get a Magidrome. What's on play here? And it's going to give me 5 movement. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Unfortunately, they're going to get 3 more mana, and I also will get 3 mana because I have a Lookout. So you keep doing this until you go through 6 cards. There's going to be 1 extra that you just discard, and then you will go on into the second round. Again, once somebody gets 20 of these mana, you score a point. Whoever has the most points after 2 rounds wins the game. In the second round, you'll get more points. What's interesting about the game as well is you can, like if I want to, I could take this Magidrome if I was to play this one later on, and instead of stacking it on here, I can play it separately. And you can kind of work your way width-wise. Or you could stack things up and try to get, double, triple, quadruple your points for each one. Like that, if you wanted to. And that's the way as well. The thing is, it kind of works both ways. It's interesting. If you have it like this, is more of a chance that somebody's going to land on your spot and give you points. If you go the other way, if somebody lands on there, you're going to be double, tripling, quadrupling your points. So it can work both ways. It's a very interesting mechanic, the way it works. The game is pretty cool. Nice components. Nice standees, nice mana. These, I noticed some mixed views on it. Why is it 20 mana is 1 point instead of 10? Why is it that we need to keep the points secret? Why do we even need this? Some might say, I think I would have preferred just having a bunch of mana and points, to use these as points, instead of having this separate thing. It's just a minor thing. And you just trade up as needed. I think that would have been fine. I don't understand the need for this myself, but it's fine. The standees have nice artwork, and they're nice little standees. The whole idea is pretty cool, going around in circles, trying to make sets, trying to maximize your points or your mana to score more points. It's pretty cool. I do like it. It's a little bit Susie Go in where you're basically drafting a card and passing the rest along, and except that you have the extra movement. So you're giving other people points, they're giving you points. If you land on one of theirs and you also have the same one, you get the points. The spring ones again, it's only if you pass over it, you get those points. If you land on it, you don't get those points. Or if I was to land on past my opponents, they would get that point. If not, if I land on it, they don't get a point. Just to be clear. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I do like it. Comment, like, subscribe. Let me know what you think. We'll see you next time for more. Thanks for watching. Sorry this is a bit long.